Good morning, everyone. Welcome to On the Porch. As you can see, we're inside today because it's a little wet out there, but I'm here with State Treasurer Erick Russell. Hi, Erick.
Hi, how are you?
I am so excited to have you, and it's my first in-person interview since COVID, so welcome.
Thank you. Very happy to be here with you.
Great. So I know today we want to talk about, first I want to know, how did you get where you are now?
Sure. So
What made you think of becoming State Treasurer?
it's been an interesting ride. It wasn't exactly what I had planned in many ways. As you know, I'm from New Haven. I grew up working in my family's small convenience store. My parents sacrificed a lot. I was the first in my family to graduate from college and then law school. But I'd always taken an interest in public policy and knew I wanted to do something that really helped contribute to the communities like the one I grew up in. After law school, I started at my firm where I was a partner in the firm's public and private finance group, and that's really what started my interest and really gaining expertise in the finance space, and felt like the run for treasurer was a great way to combine my passion for service and community with my professional experience in finance. I also know that this is a role where there's opportunity to make incredible change. And that really is what inspired me to run.
Not only for your community in New Haven, but for the whole state of Connecticut.
And we've, as you know, due to a lot of the work of yourself, the legislature, the governor, we've made huge strides in our state over the last many years, and it's really put us in a place where we can continue to invest in communities across our state and really set priorities. And so I'm really excited to kind of continue us on that path of really getting our
right, because we are in a good place. It doesn't mean we can, just do what we want with money, et cetera. We still have to watch it, but we're in a really good place and paying down our debt, et cetera.
Absolutely,
it's nice. That's great. That's a fantastic to put your skills together, to help people and to make change. So today I really wanted to know about baby bonds. People have been asking me, hearing, and I've told them. What does baby bonds do? What is it?
Sure. So baby bonds is a concept. There was legislation passed in 2021, and it's really about addressing poverty. It's about addressing intergenerational poverty in our state. And we're one of the wealthiest states in the country.
Right.
But we also have one of the largest wealth gaps, and it is a wealth gap that continues to widen. So the program is designed to help really lift folks in poverty up over time and provide opportunities for them to lift themselves up.
Because if you're born into poverty, it's very hard to get out.
It's incredibly hard.
Almost impossible.
And I think, we often think of poverty as folks who don't want to work hard or aren't committed to changing their circumstance. And oftentimes it's really just having the opportunity to really lift yourself up in a different way. So the program would take $3,200 for every child born into poverty in our state, and it would be invested in a trust, which would be managed by my office, and those funds would grow over the life of that child. And between ages 18 and 30, they would be able to access those funds for very specific purposes, again, aimed at really addressing and helping to build wealth over time. So the funds could be used to purchase a home here in Connecticut, to start or invest in a business here in Connecticut,
right?
For post-secondary education or job training, or it could be rolled into a retirement savings account. And again, part of this idea is we know one of the best indicators for someone being able to build wealth over time is to have a little bit of capital to start with, and that's really what the program aims to do.
And they can also buy a house, am I correct? Was that part of it?
Correct, so a home here in Connecticut.
The home here in Connecticut.
Correct.
Or buy a business, was that on there?
Start or invest in a business, purchase a home, those are both here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Post-secondary education or job training, or the retirement savings account.
Right, so one thing that drives me crazy with all this when I'm doing a bill and there's a fiscal note, right? This is one of those that in the end will save us money, because if we can lift people up out of poverty, we're not paying towards all those other programs.
Absolutely. And it's about, there's a huge economic opportunity in this program as well, right? These are all funds, as we were just talking about, with homes and businesses that are ultimately going to be reinvested back in communities here in Connecticut, and reinvested in communities that have often been under-resourced in many ways, right? And so we expect that there's going to be huge economic benefit to this, in addition to the social benefit to the program and really lifting communities up across the state.
Right. Well, and those programs are so important, where we're lifting up giving them the opportunity to do. And I think about families that are living paycheck to paycheck and work 2-3 jobs between them, right? And a car breaks down. You run out of heating oil, a tree falls into your house and the insurance isn't going to cover it. So those are things that can really just take you into a down spiral.
Absolutely, and I think, again, being one of the wealthiest states in the country, we anticipate that there are upwards of 15,000 babies born that would be covered by this program every year. But it's essentially half of the babies born in Connecticut every year are born into poverty.
How many? Say that again.
Half of the babies born in Connecticut every year are born into poverty. And so, again, this is about addressing some of these more underlying structural, systemic challenges that we have across the state. This is not a program that is designed to just benefit certain communities. There are babies born in all 169 towns across the state that would benefit from the program. And it's really about, again, addressing poverty at a very basic underlying level here in the state.
Right. Have there been calculations at how much this could possibly save? Or, I just would imagine that it's a large amount of money. Maybe we don't have a number, but it's got to be. It is.
So one of the numbers that we've seen in terms of economic growth and reinvestment in the state is upwards of $2 billion. As you know, the program was initially set to be funded with $600 million in bonds over a 12-year period. We've been working collaboratively with the legislature and the governor at different ways to fund it. I obviously want to make sure that we are funding the program in the most cost-effective, efficient way possible. And we think we're really confident that we're going to have a solution that, in addition to getting the program up and running on time, is also going to save some overhead in terms of the cost of the program as well.
That's really awesome.
But I think big picture, to your point, this is a long-term investment in people in our state, and it is a piece to the puzzle. We obviously need to continue to invest in education and affordable housing and childcare, but we also need to make some of these long-term investments in people, really aimed at addressing some of the more systemic and structural challenges we have as a state.
Right, which we do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I see us on the mend. I do. In my time for over 5 years, we've been doing better and better. And
Absolutely.
Going. Is there anything else that you've been working on that you'd like to share with the public?
Yeah, so I would say, just to wrap up on baby bonds, is that one of the great things here, and this is kudos to the legislature, we were the first state in the country to pass legislation like this. And since then, there are states all across the country that are modeling off of our legislation very specifically, but understanding that this is not just a Connecticut issue. This is an issue that we have across the country, and really folks looking to think more creatively about addressing poverty in communities. And I know that this has been proposed on the federal level as well. We had Senator Cory Booker in town last week talking about federal legislation that he has proposed for programs similar to baby bonds. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I always bring up the statistics that my son gave me 5 years ago when I said to him, McDonald's isn't a job that is made to support a person, to support a family. My bad, really bad. So he did up all the statistics, et cetera. That's what he does. And he showed me that in 1973, you could work a job at McDonald's, support a family of 4, health benefits, and your spouse didn't have to work.
Yes.
So you know that. And then it shows how that has flatlined till now, where other professions have moved up, they've grown. You should be able to support a family. A lot of people work really hard in the healthcare industry, which I see a lot in the aging committee, that they work hard, they take care of our people. What would you do if we didn't have all our fast food and restaurants and people serving us, right? But somehow we don't. Teachers, what they go through.
Exactly.
So I don't know how we change that, little by little. I know we've been working on it, but.
No, it's a difficult problem, but to your point, people.
But this is a step. Baby bonds is a step, right?
It's a step in the right direction. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really good. What else? What's it like being the state treasurer?
It's great. I've really enjoyed the work up to this point. We obviously hit the ground running very quickly with session, and it's been incredibly busy. But I think we and speaking of the progress that we've made as a state, there is still so much opportunity to really continue to move in the right direction.
I love your
And so,
language, opportunity.
yeah, and
You know,
so
it is to do
I'm really
different.
excited to build on the progress that we've made. You know, as treasurer, I am the principal fiduciary for our state's pension fund, so oversee all of our investments, protecting state and municipal employees and teachers and retirees' pensions, which is obviously critical, and we've made a lot of progress in really paying down pension debt, really getting our house in order on that front after many decades.
1947 or something, they stopped.
We essentially
paying.
went about 70 years without
Wow.
properly funding our pensions, and so we're making up a lot of ground, but there's
Are
obviously...
we more than half now?
So we have
about
multiple funds, but yes, we're
Yeah.
right around the 50% mark, depending on the which fund we're talking about. So, but we've, you know, over the last 3 years, we've made upwards of $6 billion in additional contributions to our pension funds, in addition to our required contributions. And so we, you know, you don't fix a 70-year problem
Issue.
in a few years, but you know, chip away at this over time, and we've done a great job with keeping our fiscal guardrails in place,
Right.
really being responsible from a fiscal standpoint, and you've seen that the benefits from that as we've had many upgrades to our bond rating, which are saving
Right.
taxpayers' dollars as we go out and continue to invest in infrastructure and transportation and housing across our state. So it's all, you know, these are all things that are steps in the right direction. We need to make sure that we're staying
But every time
focused.
we pay on the pension liability, we're saving money because we're not paying that interest and what,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, and that's
So-
and as you're making
And
these...
that frees up money for our budget.
Correct. And so with the recent contributions that have been made, we're freeing up hundreds of millions of dollars every year in our general fund that we're able to use to reinvest in the community. And this is it's not just an annual thing, right? This is over a 30-year window that you're getting that benefit on an annual basis. So we're making a lot of progress on that front. Our office also oversees all of the cash management, so all of the cash coming in and out of the state annually. Our unclaimed property program, so really
Right.
getting when...
It's been made a lot easier because I know someone that just did it and they said, I used to have to provide this paper, that paper, whatever. They said it was so much easier online.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's streamlining that process. One of the challenges and what we're really working on right now is trying to improve technology so that we can process more of these claims. So, you know, with kind of getting the website up and rolling, it's been great because people are able to process those claims a lot easier online. The problem is that everything is still manual on the back end. So we're really looking to improve the technology around this so we can get money back in the hands of rightful owners quickly, but also do so in a way that we're, you know, the primary responsibility is safeguarding that money to make sure that we're protecting against fraud and we're getting it back to the rightful owners. So
Right.
we're doing a lot of work on that front. All of the debt management for the state, so all of our bonding, how we invest in infrastructure and transportation across the state is all managed through our office. So, you know, it's been busy, but we're excited about it. We're really looking to build on existing programs like our CHET, our 529 college savings program, really pushing programs like that out.
Is that the CHET program?
Correct, yeah. So allowing families to save for college and for school to be more affordable over time. And so we're excited about getting a lot of things done.
That is exciting. Well, one of the things I admire about you is that you can read a spreadsheet and care about people too.
That's right.
Which is really
right.
important, you know. I look at those spreadsheets and I go cross-eyed,
Yeah.
you know, so I have to see, you know, the synopsis and what they're about. But it really is, and that you've taken your talent and your education to go out and help people, and that is very admirable.
Thank you. No, it's exciting. I'm honored to be doing this work. But to your point, I think it's really, you can't get lost in why we're all doing this, right? And it's ultimately about building stronger communities and building a stronger state, and really thinking about that bigger picture and longer term. It's not just about the day-to-day. It's how are we putting our state in a better spot for generations to come.
Right, to do some long-term planning. So many times we're reactive instead of having a plan going out, and it is obvious that we have a really good plan. And I tell people, we live in our communities. We're not against our national leaders because they care a lot too, but we live within our communities. We go grocery shopping, we see our neighbors, we see our schools. So, you know, people in the legislature care about the people in our state offices, and to see this, to be part of a time when we have this progress happening and we're able to do these things is really incredible.
No, and thank you for all the work that you're doing. You've done an incredible job, and obviously are so connected to the community here. And I think that's what we need. We need our government to be more representative of our communities, and we need people to make sure that the work that they're doing every day represents that. And so you're a perfect example of that. So
but it's an easier task for me. You know, I have half of my town of Windsor and half of Windsor locks. You have a whole state of 169 towns, and you do a fantastic job of getting out, you know, and doing that. But you do have to love it, and you have to love the people and want to make life better and work towards, you know, those goals.
Yeah, I think it's all about, again, keeping in mind why we're all doing this and understanding how we connect this work, which it's very easy to get lost in the spreadsheet sometimes, right, in this large-scale economic policy, but at the end of the day, it's about helping people. And,
and it's all people, because we help small businesses, large businesses, senior citizens, the IDD community. It is helping all our constituents. So
absolutely,
it's really great. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I've really enjoyed having you, and we have to do this again after things start happening.
Thank you. Happy to, anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on The Porch, and we will see you next time.